And good morning, everybody. How are you doing? Good. In your packet, you have a folder from me, and I have some handouts in there for you in a folder. And what we're going to do with what's in there is get you jump started on your professional portfolio, okay? The first thing I want to look at in that packet is a sheet that looks like this. It has a little model on it. I'm going to talk about that model for a little bit before we get into me showing you what to do to develop your portfolio. This model that you're going to look at is something that has transformed over the years. In fact, in 2002, this model was developed from a part of my doctoral studies, and I've used it since then, and I've added on to it. And what you see today is a master leadership model that I'd like you, as what I call master students, to take a look at and follow in your professional career. In the middle, you see that blue section in the middle? It says, that's the leader within. My personal philosophy on leadership is that I believe that anyone can be a leader, but as you can see, I have there with a little help. Anybody need a little help along the way? I think most leaders do. So my philosophy on leadership is definitely a shared model, and I believe that anyone can be a leader with a little help. Today, what I hope to do is pull some of that leader within you out. It's going to happen before we get to the end of the session. As you can see around that model, you see professional leadership experiences, you see community and society. The other are personal experiences and professional work. In your career, you're going to be in touch with all four of those areas that will define your leadership capabilities for the future. Professional leadership experiences, that's kind of what do you want to be? What do you want to do in the future? How can you get there? Joining clubs, networking in the community, following a path directly related to where you want to be in the future. Community and society. All of you are from somewhere, correct? Yes. What's happening in your community? Do you know? What's happening in your society? Do you know? Well, if you're going to focus on leadership, you've got to know what's happening right around you in your community, and you need to know what's happening in society because you're going to be directly related to that, and what's going on there is going to influence where you're going to be in the future. The other part to this model includes personal experiences. Well, when I say personal experiences, I'm looking at, well, what am I doing for myself? How do I take care of myself? Am I getting enough rest? Am I focusing on finishing projects? What am I doing for myself to make me a better leader? And then lastly, you'll see professional work. How many of you have a job already? Anybody working? A few people working. On that job, this is another saying of mine, you need to remain professional at all times. Everybody get that? Yes. On your job, you need to remain a professional at all times. Once upon a time, I taught teachers. And you know, teachers have drama sometime in the classroom, right? And you know what I told them? Cry in your car. What does that mean? What does that mean to cry in your car? Sometimes you get so frustrated, sometimes things happen, but you've got to remain a professional at all times. That's going to set you up for being a professional in the future. that's going to set you up at the boardroom table where you're not trying to take all your marbles and go home. Got it? You can't do that there. So this model is the first thing I want you to think about as being a leader in the future, okay? I'm going to tell you right now, what you're wondering, what is she talking about? A professional electronic leadership portfolio? What does that mean? What is an electronic leadership portfolio? Well, this idea for the electronic portfolio developed over a number of years in my professional career, and what I've begun to do is share it. I share it all the time. Once upon a time, it used to be all paper. Having someone to put together a notebook on what you're doing, and actually that notebook that I used to put together before I turned it into this electronic thing, I won a national award with my leadership portfolio. I had training from the National Institute for Leadership Development for Women, and at that leadership development training, we had to develop a project that you can take back to your college. Well, one of the things that I decided to do was to create a project that could focus on raising leaders, helping others to be defined in their leadership capabilities as well. So I started to put all of that together, and it's been almost, 10 to 15 years, over 10 years, nearly 15, that I've been training students, community members, anyone who wants to listen on how to build this thing, and I'm going to show you how to do it today. You have a sheet from me that says electronic leadership portfolios, and I'm going to just give you a little definition of what that means. When I asked if you had a job, some of you raised your hands, some of you did not. Well, guess what you can use this for? You can design this showcase to highlight your personal expertise, which could provide a basis for professional evaluations. It also could be a context for you for job searches, preparation for promotions, and it also could provide your potential or current employers something about you, okay? There are going to be two sources that I recommend that you can use to start building your portfolio. One is webs.com and the other is wix.com. And before the session is over, I'm actually going to show you my portfolio. Now, when I show you my portfolio, did you hear me say my portfolio, right? Because when people see it, they go, oh my gosh, wow. But you know what? Where you are in your professional careers, guess what you have? You have a wow moment too. You have a wow, this is where I am right now. Are you serious? This is what I've done? And I'll show you how to collect what you need to put in yours. The sites that I chose to develop this model for yourselves, guess what? They're free. They are absolutely free. So you don't have to spend any money unless you're going into business for yourself. You want to move forward with a business. You can change it to that type of format. But these are free sites that you can use to develop your portfolio. Well, what goes into that ELP? You see my long list right here? You're going to say, man, I may have just one out of the two. I don't know. But your long list that I have here, I'm going to go over it to tell you what is actually in this thing that we're going to develop. The first thing is a resume. How many of you have a resume? I see some people need to be calling me so I can help you do your resume, and I'll be glad to do that. You'll know how to find me, but you need to have a resume, okay? It could be functional or it can be a chronological resume. The difference between the two, if you've had not too many jobs, you're still in college, what I recommend for you is a functional resume, If you've had many jobs, how many of you have had many jobs? How much is many? More than 2 or 3. You've had many? If you've had many, you may want to focus on a chronological resume, okay? Now, I have highlighted a couple things in red there for you. One is that you need to have a leadership philosophy or statement of purpose. What do you believe in? What do you believe in? Remember at the beginning I said, I believe anyone can be a leader with a little help. I also believe that whatever I have up here, I will share with whoever needs the knowledge that I have. So I believe in shared leadership. What do you believe in? You have to start thinking about that in your career. You have to start thinking, what is my purpose? What do I believe in? Because more than likely, when you have defined yourself as a leader, someone else is going to be looking at you for help. They're going to be looking at you, but you have to define yourself. You know that within you, remember that? Go inside and define what that is. How many of you have ever done any leadership presentations? Any presentations at all? Presentations. What could they be? Oh, I don't know. I think I taught a class for a group of young women. I think I taught a class at church for a group of young women. Oh, I volunteered with the bridge run and I did something for that. But you got to start doing something as a leader. Got it? You have to start doing something. Exceptional academic coursework or business leadership specialty. What types of programs are you in? What are you studying? Dual enrollment? Yeah, so you're in high school. Yeah. Oh my goodness, a dual enrollment student. I think you're my first ever in my class. You're my first ever. So what do you want to study? What's the future for you? Biochemistry. Boy, that's off the charts for me, right? Biochemistry. So what you need to do, and if you're a dual credit student, that means you have some A's in chemistry. You have some A's in biology. You have some A's in science. Well, what are those projects that you've worked on to get those A's? Some of them you can highlight in this model, okay? Professional development opportunities. Guess what's going to be one that you can list for that? This session today. That's right. This program and every session that you've had under this program, you can list them all. Name some things that you've done that you've been recognized for. What have you done? Anybody?
Library cadet.
Library cadet, okay.
I was thinking how to put it together.
People looking at you, right? They're looking at what you are wearing. Absolutely right. That's a cool one. I like that. What else? I saw your hand. What have you been recognized for?
Outstanding section leader.
Excuse-
Outstanding section leader.
Outstanding section leader. I love it. Did I see your hand also? No. But those are fantastic. Start listing things like that, and I'll show you how. I'll have a handout in there as well to show you how to do that. Certificates of membership. Now, this one is important. This is important. What are you a member of? I heard biochemistry. Are you in the science club?
No, I'm in the Champions for Change and Human Services Club.
Okay, nice. I'll tell you about that club a little bit later. I have some history there with that club. What are you in? Brian, I know you're the president of the Clemente Club, right?
So I was going to ask you about, what about my graduation certificates from the Clemente?
perfect. That's right. That's right.
Tap a certificate from the VA hospital for programs.
Start scanning them in. That's right, and I'm going to talk about that. Yes, absolutely. You are a veteran. You're also in the Veterans Voice Club. Listed. All of those memberships are important. Professional growth plan. Now this one, I gave you another handout. It's in your folder, and it's called Get a Life. It is by one of our faculty members who used to be here a long time ago. Before you know it, I think she's going to be a college president somewhere. But it's called How to Get a Life, okay? How to Get a Life. For those of you who are a little bit shaky right now, trying to decide, what am I going to do with my life? I want you to take a look at that form. I want you to fill it out because it's going to give you a template, a pathway for you to keep it moving, because I want you to keep it moving, okay? Now, when you decide to fill that out, if you have any questions on it, you'll know how to reach me. I want you to just give me a call, and I'll be glad to walk you through it. But you have got to know where you're going from today forward. Everybody understand? You've got to know where you're going. Once you get a degree in college, you know, people are going to think, oh my gosh, they're doubly smart now. They are so smart. I've got to see where they're going, because guess what? People may follow you where you're going. Believe it? It's going to happen. The other thing I wanted to have you try to list is, what are you reading? What are you reading? And I don't mean the National Enquirer or, you know, the supermarket magazines. What books are you reading? Uh-oh. I hear nothing. But guess what? I need to hear something, because you need to be reading. Oh, look at that. You're reading The Alchemist. That's a book you need to list. That's something you're reading. Right now, believe it or not, I'm in the middle of reading like 6 books at a time. I got 6 of them. And I'm just going back and forth because I love to read. I want to read because I'm nosy. I want to know what's going on. So bestsellers, I have them. And I like to read a lot of leadership books, so I have those as well. You need to find something to read, something to list. The one book that you're reading in this program, that's your number one. List that book, and I'll show you what to do with it in a minute. The last thing that I have there, you can incorporate in this portfolio blogs or links to other, you see my red letter there? Professional social media. What's the difference between professional social media and, you know, Facebook? What's the difference?
The difference is that the professionals are people that are achieving something in life. They have their own business.
Mm-hmm. Your own business. A nice one is LinkedIn. Anybody in LinkedIn sharing your professional? Yes, your LinkedIn. Cool. You didn't hear me say any of those others, and they're coming a dime a dozen today. This model that you're dealing with today is all about professionalism. Keep it there. Not that you can't have Facebook or some of the others, but you have to keep this one professional, okay? You've got to keep it professional. This is going to get you from point A to point B to point C, but it has to be professional. Now, on the bottom, what I did for you is to try to define a leadership philosophy and how you can develop one for yourself. Okay, you know what mine is. What is it? What did I say before? Shared leadership. shared leadership. Well, what is yours going to be? This is going to help you to develop one of your own. All right? Now, we're going to talk about how to build your site. Ready? If any of you have your iPads or your laptop computers, now's a good time to follow me along, okay? You're going to be working on construction right now. We're going to put it together. One of the things that's going to be important as you put it together is one more process that I've included there before you get to the next step. And that is, what in the world am I going to put in this thing that you want me to develop? I don't know what to do. Well, you have my list, right? So the thing that I want you to start to do is to collect what I call artifacts. Artifacts about yourself. So what is an artifact? Here you have it. I don't know why I feel like Vanna today. You know Vanna White? There you go. But in your folder also, I'm telling you what this 4-step process will entail. You need to start to collect artifacts about yourself, about your world. Remember those 4 places on my little circle that told you all the areas that you're involved with your life? These are objects that are important to you, and they're going to reveal something about yourself, okay? Something about yourself. You need to start to document the 5 W's. That's what I call it. Who, what, when, where, and why. And a good thing to do is to manage all this stuff on your computer. Everybody knows word processing, correct? You know how to scan stuff, right? Start scanning. All those certificates you have, start scanning. Put them into an electronic format so that you can put them directly into this model as you start working on them. How are you going to plan it? Remember the last handout that asked you, what is your purpose? What is your purpose? What's going to be the purpose of this portfolio? We know we have a biochemist in the making, right? Her purpose is going to be probably that she's going to venture more into biology or the sciences. So you're going to have to do some research in that area. List specifics about your audience. Who's going to see it? Who's going to see it? Probably potential folks in a 4-year university. They're going to see it. Someone who's going to give you a job for an internship, they may see it. So you're going to have to model it so that they'll see it. Then you have to think about the order. Then you have to assemble it. So all of those things that you see there are steps that you need to keep in mind now to get it done. Everybody got me? This is a living document about yourself and about your life. So once you develop this, you can keep it moving, you keep it going, okay? There are 2 sites, and I want you to actually go into these sites with me so that you can see the beginnings of how to do it. The first one is webs.com. When you go to webs.com, and remember, these 2 I gave you because it's free. I want you to be able to do this because it's free. This is very, very simple. Let's see if I can open it up a little bit. All you do is follow the yellow brick road. Did I really say that? But you're going to just follow exactly what they're saying to you to get started. You get started by entering your email address. Oh boy, let me stop there. I know you have many email addresses, right? You have the cutesy names that people call you. Like what? Give me, I know you have one, because I know you have like 20,000 email addresses.
Bayliner. Bayliner.
Bayliner. Will an employer know who Bayliner is? No. That's what you know, right? They don't know that. They don't know that you're pretty Miss Thing or guru guy. That means nothing in the professional world. For your website, what is your name? What is your name? You put your name. You put your full name. And I know because you're a student at this college, your full name is somewhere. It's on that email address that you use, isn't it? Yes. All right, you're starting off good. You already have a professional name on a website. Use that one. That is my recommendation for you. If you don't, and if you want to use something, I don't know, with Gmail, use your name. Use your professional name. When you get here, you're going to just get started by putting in that email address, and you just go through all the steps. Okay? You're going to go through all the steps. And you're going to create your website for what? For free. So you know what free means? Listen to me. Free means that they're only going to give you 10 sites that you could create for free. All right? If you go to 11, guess what's going to happen? They're going to kick you out and kick you back to 10. So be cognizant of that. You only want 10 sites. Now, let me just give you a little sample of it. And remember, this is mine and it is not what? Yours. Yours is not going to look like this. Okay? Here you go. I'm going to put it in. And you can go and look at mine at any time. I don't mind. Dr. Lou Robinson. See, that's my name on here. If you go into drlouerobinson.webs.com, you can pull mine up at any time. Okay? What does it look like? There it is. There's me. There's my picture on a good hair day. Never had that hair day again in my life, right? And then I have higher education highlights on mine. Talks about highlights. There's me. Down at Palmer doing something, I don't know, some program, I don't know. Here's my community college work. I've been teaching for a long time. People want to know, oh, you're a teacher, right? There's all this stuff I've done for the last 20 years. Curriculum development, that club you mentioned, that used to be a division that I started here. That's exactly correct. And that club that you're in. So look at all this stuff. Certificates, diplomas, associate degrees, that's an expertise of mine. Publications, there you go. People want to know that about me because, what have you done? You're going to get the questions, so have the answers on this model when you develop yours, okay? I don't care if you do a Sunday school guide. Do you have a Sunday school guide? That's a resource. Where are you going to put it? Right here, okay? Presentation. Well, here's honors and awards. Planning. And when I said I had to weed some out, I really had to weed some out. And you know why I have so many awards? Because I'm very busy in my community, remember? And in society, remember? You got to get busy. People have to recognize what you do. How do you help people? How do you serve? That's important for your portfolio. And then presentations. There I am. Here they go. National presentations. This one, I just did a national presentation earlier this year in California. And you know what this presentation did? It won an award for my college. It won an award. It was one that I developed with a transfer model, and I've done it twice in South Carolina, so I thought I would take it national. I got a national award for the college for this presentation on how students should transfer successfully. So those are my national presentations. I have statewide presentations. Whoops. And I have local presentations. Look at one local that I have. Trident Technical College Student Development Program. You know how many times I've done this, Ann? Since 2010. 2010, 2011, 2012, 2013, and 2014. 5 times, because I love it. So you see that? And then again, I am going to do a blog. I am going to do that. That is my goal before the year is over. Okay, so that is webs.com, okay? Now, let's look at wix.com. You might like this one better. You're going to have to go in, play around with it a little bit, see which one suits your capabilities and what you want to do. When you go to wix.com, same kind of thing. What are you doing? You're creating a website for what? Free. It's the same type of model. Taking a while to get up there. Let's see. Well, it's taking a little bit of time, but it's the same type of format. There you go. Same type of format that you would use for developing a site. I have one on Wix as well, but I think that my site that I use for webs.com is a little easier to use. They also have templates. You can put in a template that matches your major, a template that matches kind of anything you'd like to do. You'll find it here. They do it for free for you. You just pick and choose what you want. Okay? All right. Is everybody following me okay? You getting it? Good. So those are general instructions on how to build it. Now, where do I want to take you next? I want you to understand 2 other things that's going to be important, and then I'll take your questions. And if anyone wants me to just walk to you to look at what you're trying to put together on your computer, I'll be glad to do that as well. One of the things that I think is important is for you, for this type of portfolio, when you're making it professional, it's even your phone number that has to be professional. It's also, you see that little QR code right there? I'm going to show you how to develop one of those for your website as well. Now let's talk about telephones. I am sure that everyone in this room has a cell phone. Am I correct? I am sure. Oh, one person doesn't. He lost his phone. Okay. If you have a phone, when your phone rings, am I hearing Jay-Z and Beyonce singing? Am I hearing gospel music? What am I hearing when your phone rings? Regular ringtone. Thank you very much. Now, if an employer is calling you for a job, right? You have a regular ringtone. But when the employer picks up the phone, what are they hearing? Do they have to wait 1 minute to hear the end of Blake Shelton's song? Do they have to wait 1 minute to hear that favorite gospel song that just touches you so much? Do they have to wait? Because guess what? If that's happening on your phone, you know what they're going to do? Hang up. They're not waiting on you. They're not waiting on you. Here's my recommendation. Keep your cell phone. Keep that ringtone. It's okay. That's your world. That's your life. But what are we talking about? Professionalism, right? So you know what I want you to do? Get you a Google phone number. Free. Get you a Google phone number for free where you will have this number, and this number is only going to employers, it's going to your boss, it's going to anyone who wants to be in your professional world. Got me? Well, how do you get it? Okay, here it is. If you have a Gmail account already, you can go into this account, and guess what you can do? Create an account for a free phone number. And some people say, well, I don't want people that much into my life. I don't. I want to keep everything a little private. That's up to you. If you want to do that, and if you're going to use your personal phone, you're going to have to make some changes. All right? Make some changes so that it would be in a professional mode for you. Got me? But you can go here. You go to that site. You have it. It's called Google Voice. You can create your own phone number. My children do this. I have 2 children who are in show business. They have this number. When someone's trying to reach them, they're calling that number, and it goes directly into professional mode. Got me? Keep it professional. Now, when you get your site all built and nice, guess what you're going to do? You know, you go to our favorite store. You know what store that is? Well, I send my husband there all the time. Walmart. You know, you can put your phone up to something and it tells you the price. Guess what people can do? When you send them this is going to make you look so professional, man. They're going to love it. There it is. This is hiding it, this top part here. Oh, here you go. What I have done is to show you how to get directly to the QR code, because you can develop this little thing here that's going to be the print for your website. You can give that QR code to anyone, and guess what they'll be able to relate to? They'll be able to get right back to this portfolio that you're developing, okay? You go in there, see right here your website URL. Remember mine was Dr. Lou Robinson. When I put that in, what they have done, I have a QR code that is specific to my website. So if someone puts in this, if they click on this with a smartphone, they're going to get directly back to my website. Got it? But you got to develop your website first, right? You got to do it first. You have to have that URL name. You put it in, and it's like magic once you get it done. So I have one of these, and all I do, if I'm sending someone a letter, perhaps, I put my QR code on it, you know, looking all fancy, like I'm really tech savvy, right? If you want to reach me, or if you want to know more about me, because you know all the things I highlighted in my website. I highlighted those things on my website because when people are looking for me, that's what they want me to do. They want me to develop some curriculum. They want me to do a workshop, but they want to know my background. Give them my QR code. Guess what? They can look at my entire website that you just saw. They can look at it by clicking on with a smartphone. Cool enough for you? You got to do this for yourself. Any questions for me that I may be able to answer for you? Yes.
I've never been much of a computer literate.
Me neither.
I'm interested in you talking about blog.
Yes.
What is a blog?
A blog is when you're going to start a conversation on something that is of value to you. The reason I'm going to start a blog on this leadership portfolio is because I train on it so many times. I do it for high school students. I do it for students on the associate degree level. I do it for groups. I do this for students in graduate school. They want to know how to do this. So what I'm going to do with my blog is just start off with a question, and a question to ask, do you have one? If they don't, I'm going to explain, just like I did for you, what is this thing that you're talking about? You know, that green sheet that you have that explains what that is? That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to explain it to people. And I hope that many other people would want to do it. Just this audience that I'm in front of today, I've done it 5 times for this audience alone. But I've done it many other times for many other different groups. And people still have it today. I teach a class, one of the classes that's at my college that is for students just coming into college skills. Guess what they have to do? One of these. They do. In my class. They do. And why do they need it? Not only do they build this, I build a resume in that class. They even do a paper, and I say a 3-page paper on what do you want to be in the future? I have them doing research. And it's only a 3-page paper, right? But that paper is uploaded into this site. The resume is uploaded into this site. So even though they're on the associate degree level, they're leaving that class with what? QR code, website. I have a paper on why I want to be a biochemist, right? An employer would go, oh yeah, this is a student for me. I'm going to give you an internship in my lab to help you out, to track you, to help you finish that degree. So blogging starts all those types of conversations.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Think you got it? Well, I don't know, because I want to see it. I want you to send me your URL when you're finished so I can take a look at it. You looked at mine, well, I want to look at yours, right?
You know, one thing when you talk about jobs, many jobs, resumes and stuff, I have had many jobs.
Yes.
And sometimes I've seen employers look at that and say, oh, that's not a good sign all the time. You know, you've had too many jobs. And why did you stay at one? So what do you do? Do you just put a minimum of jobs down, or the ones that you...
You put your chronological jobs down because guess what? That's not the only employer in the world. There are many more. And let me tell you a little bit about higher ed that I'm in. You know what I have to keep track of? Every job I've ever had since I graduated from college. Now, I graduated from college before many of you were born in this room, I know. But in the world of higher education, they want to see every job you've ever had. Well, how long is my resume? It turns into something called a curriculum vitae by then. You know how long it is? It's like 21 pages. But people in higher ed wants to see what? Everything.
21 pages.
Yes, they do. Because it details your professional career. They're looking at how many years did you actually teach in higher ed? How many years were you? It matters. It matters for something called tenure. When you get tenure in higher education, that is phenomenal. But they're looking at your entire teaching career. So don't let that dismay you or distract you from taking anything out that's necessary or important, especially in the field you want to go in. They want to see it. And I like talking about my biochemists here because they're going to want to see what you've done. They want to see it. Did you have internships? You know, we have in our economic development area, there's all kinds of places where you can get internships to work, to keep it moving. They want to see that you've been working, that you have some experience in the field. And that's just one area. Give me some other areas. Anybody in nursing? Oh, I got a nurse. Yes. I know you go to clinicals. You're at all these hospitals. Hospital number 1, what are you doing? Hospital number 2, what do you do? Keep track of that. That is going to be critical, the clinical experience that you're going to have in nursing. Critical. Keep track of that. And that is what? Under your artifacts list, right?
Thank you.
You got to keep track of that. They're going to look at, do you have any real experience in nursing? You want to be a nurse, but do you know how to give a shot? Did you work with some children? Did you work with some seniors? What did you do? What did you do in the hospital when you were working in those clinicals? That is going to be important for you. Any other questions? You ready? You ready to start working? If you're ready to start working, then I'm ready to help you. Okay? So I'm going to help you.